Hello again, everyone. This is Terry Earthwind over at Consortium, and I've got Todd Cherches with me. Welcome, Todd. Thanks for stopping by.
Terry, thanks for having me. It's great.
I appreciate you coming by. Todd's got some cool things that he's doing out there, and I asked him to stop by and tell us about it because I think you guys will be interested in it. So the famous question is, Todd, Todd Cherches, so what are you doing?
Well, I'll start by telling you what I'm not doing. I'm not getting any sleep is what I'm doing. You just mentioned that you get up at 4 or 5 in the morning. That's about what time I go to bed every night. So I've been doing, my book just came out a month ago. So I've been busy promoting it. So as you can imagine, because of COVID, all my in-person events were canceled. So my book signings, my keynotes, my workshops, all canceled, right? So someone said to me, that's probably the worst time, bad luck that your book came out in the middle of a pandemic. The flip side of that was the reach I'm getting through Zoom calls, webinars, networking. We're in the same networking group with Peter Wernick. I think I'm meeting more people and getting the book, the word out more than I ever would have gotten in person. So you're trying to find the silver lining of certain things. So I'm living on Zoom from morning, noon, and night. I was just interviewed on a podcast in Australia, Sydney, Australia the other day, London yesterday. So I'm spanning the time zones. That's why I'm not getting any sleep. So I'm either preparing or following up, and then I do a podcast, a live webinar. I did one for 1,500 people last week globally, and I got like 100 new LinkedIn connections just from that one. I'm not sure how many book sales, but so that's what I'm doing. I'm not getting any sleep. I'm still talking fast because I'm from New York. So luckily I pack a lot into a short period of time. But that's what I'm doing. And my new website is coming out. I'm the CEO of bigbluegumball.com, so management leadership training and coaching and consulting. But I just launched my new website, toddcherches.com, which is focused on my book and on my speaking. So that's what I've been doing, is between the book launch and the website, not getting much sleep. But the good thing is there's no traveling or commuting. So the flip side is like for all of us now, the commute is about a 90-second walk from the bedroom to our office.
Yeah, that is so right. And I totally understand what you're saying, because it's not unusual for me to be talking to Eastern Europe or Moscow or Istanbul the other morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, because we're both on the East Coast of America, and be talking to somebody in North Africa or Canada or something in the afternoon, and be talking to Indonesia or Australia that night. It's not unusual. So for some, this has been quite strenuous, and for others like you and I, this has been a boon, because the people that we're trying to reach, they're already home. Well, tell me the name of your book. What is it? We got
the name of the book? Yeah, sure. It's called Visual Leadership, and you can see it right behind me. And the word visual leadership is a single word with a single shared L. And the concept behind visual leadership is that for leaders, you can't separate your vision from who you are and how you are as a leader, right? So the way the lens through which you see the world shapes how you lead, so one of the concepts behind visual leadership I've been talking more about lately is, as you can see, the book cover is a rainbow eye. The rainbow represents diversity in all its forms, as well as innovation and creativity. But one of the concepts I've been talking more about is flipping the eye. So leadership has everything to do with how you see the world and getting your vision of the future out there into the world. The flip side of the eye is looking at things from other people's point of view. I think it's more important than ever to look at the world and look at other people with empathy and compassion, and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what do I believe? Why do I believe it? And it's kind of question our beliefs, but also help others become the leaders that they can be. So that's the concept behind flipping the eye, the fact that leadership is not all about you, but it's all more about making the world a better place for others.
Lovely, lovely. Where do you buy it?
Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com. One of my fantasies was to hang out in the Barnes and Noble in my neighborhood on the Upper East Side by the bookshelf and see how many people gravitated towards the eye. Unfortunately, no bookstores are open right now, and I just heard from a friend that they closed and may not reopen. So that dream may be dead. So unfortunately, I'll have to speak. The other fantasy is sitting on the New York subway and seeing someone holding my book on their lap while they're on the train. So we'll see if that happens, if the trains ever come back.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The fantasy with me is I had a new book come out last November that I'm having a lot of fun with. Like I just did a webinar for 1,120 people.
Wow.
And it's called Profiling for Profit, What Crossed Arms Don't Tell You. It's reading the nuances of subconscious muscle movement while you're in a conversation with someone. Are they getting your message? You know,
Yeah.
that's important, whether
I'm
it's
gonna
in a
have to
sales
read it
conversation or
the,
whatever.
yeah, I'm definitely going to read it now that you mentioned it, because I'm sure there's some synergies there. Because one of my mantras is, how do you get people to see what you're saying, right? How do you get
Yeah.
an image from your head into someone else's? In Hamlet, when he says that he sees the ghost of his father, he says, I see my father in my mind's eye. So Shakespeare popularized that term, mind's eye. So
Yeah.
we see some things with our physical eye, but we see other things with our mind's eye, right? So the concept of how do you get an image from your mind into mine, that's what influencing is all about, and effective communication. And one way of doing that is the use of visuals, which is, you know, drawing in images, but also visual language, right? The use of storytelling and metaphor. So yeah, I can't wait to learn more about your approach to how how do you communicate and crossing cultural barriers. I know you do a lot of intercultural work,
Yeah.
right? So how do you get
Yeah.
your ideas into someone else's head from another culture?
I hear you. Thanks
Yeah.
for stopping by. We've got another episode of So What Are You Doing? Thank you again to everybody for watching. Evolutionary, eve of illumination, healer, to end suffering, to start anew. Evolutionary Healer, LLC.